This is my 2000 Ford Crown Victoria, my newest project. My first project on my own. There's probably better cars, but I like Crown Vics. I used to be a police officer, so I spent a lot of time in one, although mine was a 97 and not a 2000. I've had this for about 7 months, and it's just been sitting in order for me to get time to get started on it. The backstory, bought it from a guy who used it as a daily driver, and he said he was driving it and the oil light came on and then the car cut off and wouldn't restart. The car has 280,000 miles on it. It's pretty well wore out. The original motor, other than just the needed maintenance things, and the body's got some dents and dings here and there, but it was a daily driver until then. So what do I think that's going on with it? Well, my guess is the timing set broke and took out the oil pump. So more than likely it's at the minimum spun a bearing. I tried to crank it over and it wouldn't budge. Starter would click and engage, but it stopped there. Now at this point, you normally would take out the plugs, take off the belt, put it in neutral and try to just spin the motor over by hand. But I already knew I wanted to take the motor out of it and rebuild it and do some upgrades on it. So kind of pointless to do that. I'm just going to start tearing it apart and see what I find. Are there motors better than the 4.62 valve to do performance mods to? Absolutely. Are there motors that are cheaper to do performance mods to? Absolutely. But sometimes a project is about a challenge. And truthfully, this is going to be a challenge in a lot of ways. I've never done a project car. I have a lot of automotive knowledge, and I've worked in the parts business for 15 years now. So know a good bit about cars, know a good bit about Crown Vics. I've owned one before. And this is all going to be new to me and probably going to run into some problems because I'm going to try to do as much of it on my own as I can and not outsource it. So why do this? Well, I'm 48 and I just need a hobby. Honestly, I work, I've got kids, so why not tear a car apart in my driveway and my carport? Which, by the way, is going to suck. I don't have a garage. I have a carport, which I guess is better than a gravel driveway, which I've done before too. So I'm not going to complain that much. And I've got the ability to buy tools and buy parts. Although, if you're going to keep up with me on YouTube, I'm going to forewarn you, I don't have a time frame for this. And again, I have a family, so I can't just go dump 12 grand in parts all at one time. But it's going to be fun, so I hope you stick around and watch. So what's up first for it? Well, let me tell you the overall plan. I'm going to tear the motor apart. My goal is to keep it a 4.6, I reckon. I would love to stroke it to a 5-liter, but I don't know that the budget's going to allow for a stroker kit. But if the crank or the pistons have sustained any damage and I've got to get the block bored out, probably go ahead and stroke it at that point. So in a way, I hope it's not damaged. It'll be cheaper, but in a way, I hope it is damaged so I have an excuse to put a stroker kit in it. Intake manifold, port and polish the heads. Got a head swap, by the way. This is a 2000, so it has the non-PI performance improved heads. I ordered a set of performance improved heads from eBay. Hopefully they're in pretty good shape. I got them a few months ago. I haven't even opened the box. But PI heads are going to go on along with a cam, rebuild the transmission, new torque converter. The diff in this thing is just a basic Crown Vic. This is a base model. It's not a Police. It's not an Interceptor. So we're going to put a positive track in the rear end of it. Going to bump it up to 410s, rebuild the rear end. And I think probably the most interesting thing I'm going to do to this is a rear mount turbo setup. I know everybody right now is going, it'll lag. Maybe. I don't care. But I can build a rear mount turbo system cheaper than I can get custom headers or in-stock headers for this car. There's really only one company, which is Stainless Works. They make a great header, but their headers alone are $1,800. And then a catback exhaust system, you're looking about another $1,800. I can build a rear mount turbo system for this car for probably around $2,000. So in a way, I actually come out cheaper putting a turbo on it. And then, of course, after everything's done, I've got to dig into the suspension. If you look at the car from the back or the front or the side, you can see it leans a little bit. It's pretty well wore out everywhere in every piece of suspension component. So I'm going to have to replace pretty much everything. Ball joints, bushings, tie rod ends. But I think the saving grace is this was a daily driver up until it stopped running. So we know it's at least functional, but I'm going to go through everything and make sure it's on the money before I drive it myself. I'm not going to bore everybody with kind of the basics here, but I'm going to get started today, finally. And first up, I'm going to get the fluids drained out of this thing and start disconnecting the motor and the transmission over this weekend, hopefully. And then maybe next weekend I can start pulling things out, and we're just going to go from there and dig into it. Well, day one, got the top of the engine taken apart, intake and plenum. Got the oil drained, coolant drained out of it, battery out, and we're going to stop right here for the day. Got the coils out. Yeah, not a bad start. We're going to see where she goes. Man, look at that that carbon buildup on the intake runner. That is nasty. But you can see these are not PI heads, of course, but that's okay. We got new heads that are going to go on it, so it doesn't really matter right now. All right, yeah, so that's the day one update. Got the top of the engine apart, intake, plenum, got the fluids drained, and what else? Yeah, there's one of my cats. What are you doing, Charlie? Yeah, pretty nasty, pretty dirty, leaking oil everywhere, but it's what I expected. The coolant did not look great. I'm not going to say it was chocolate milk, but it's pretty nasty. I think it was really just a lot of corrosion in there. So, and it did not have nearly enough coolant in it either. So there's that. Hopefully it didn't do too much damage, but we're going to find out.